Right. What in the hell? Here we go again. Same old shit, dog, just a different day. Here we go again. Let's see. Let's go to media. Let's go to media. Oh, look at that. Let's get some. All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Type 21 if you can hear me. Look at that. Oh, you missed it. Look at that. Oh, you missed it. Look at that. Ooh, I'm fancy, huh? Look at that. Oh, you can hear me? Hold on. How's my sound? Mic check. It's here. How's my sound? Is my sound better? Do I sound like I'm in the studio? Do I sound like I'm in the studio? Or is it just me? I be thinking it's me because I got some new gadgets. But I don't know. But yeah, I'm preparing for my show tomorrow. Who's sending a request? What are you sending a request for? Duke? The Duke? What are you sending a request for? Was that a mistake? What do you want to be on my live for? Do I know you? Huh? Oh, it's accidental? Okay. Because I'm like, what? All right. So let's do this. Who's ready? Oh, by the way, comment waitlist. Comment waitlist to join my coming. Mentorship in April. All right. Comment waitlist. Okay, let's do this. Not waitlist. 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 Oh, you missed it. You don't comment waitlist because you already in there. All right. All right, we're gonna go here. You see my man, listen. I've been working, man. I've been working. Wait a second. Give me 1 second. What's all this? Why is the thing so huge that I can't? Give me a second. Because why? Why did it do that? Okay, now we talking. Now we talking. Now we talking. Now we are talking. All right, type 21 if you can hear me properly. If you can see my screen properly. This is a glimpse of what we gonna be doing every Saturday on Satoshi Saturday, right? I'm just using y'all to test. Okay? So when I started the Satoshi Saturday, I was basically just giving out sats, right? But I've decided to turn it into a whole show, a legit show, right? But not just a show, an educational show, live college, right? not even a college, live university. So tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, make sure you pull up. All right, let's see what we got. Let us see what we got. All right, who wanna volunteer? You know what? I'll do it because y'all be slow. So let's say, right? Let's say you're looking at, what's up, brother? Let's see you exposed. Yeah. Okay. I wish I would run into. Hey, I've been trying to tell folks, man. I try to give them game. They call me a hater, but it is what it is, man. All right, so over here, right, we are looking at the difference, the opportunity cost of investing in the S&P 500 versus Bitcoin, right? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Well, I feel like I'm going in and out. Say yes. Yes, you can hear me. All right. Good. All right. So we are looking at the opportunity cost. Do you guys all know what an opportunity cost is? Type 1 if you do. Do you know what an opportunity cost is? Do you know what an opportunity cost is? Golly, why it take y'all so long to answer? Yes or no? Ken Tut, you missing out. No. 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 Okay, so opportunity cost is essentially whatever you give up to do another thing. Okay, so whatever you do, there's a cost to it, right? And the cost is what you gave up to do whatever you're doing, right? You could have done this, but you chose to do that. And by doing so, that's a cost to the opportunity you missed or the opportunity you chose, right? So over here, we are looking at if you decide to, let's say, contribute $2,000, $2,000 a month to your retirement, and you decide to put it in the S&P 500, right? The S&P 500 before Bitcoin was the benchmark, right? It was the standard. That was what everybody tried to achieve, right? Until Bitcoin came in the game and changed it. So you will often hear people say, put your money in the market. The market is the S&P 500. The S&P 500 typically returns around 8 to 12% annually. There's going to be years where it does 20%. There's going to be years where it will do 1% or minus 5%. But on average, the return is about 8 to 12%, give or take. So on this chart, we are going to assume, as a matter of fact, let me ask you, if you wanted to retire comfortably in the next 10 to 20 years, how much can you consistently contribute to your retirement on a monthly basis? Give me the number so I can use your numbers for this. Anybody? How much are you willing to contribute on a monthly basis towards your retirement? $1,000, $1,000. You pretty. I'm not gonna mention your name. That's a pause. 3,000, 1,000. Why 1,000? What? How old are you guys? 15. Why 1,000? How much are you bringing in? You only want to invest $1,000 a month? You tripping? $1,000 a month is for teenagers. Gotta step your game up. If you invest in $1,000 a month, what else are you doing with your money? We'll go with 3,000. We'll go with the person who said 3,000. 1,000 is unacceptable. All right. Okay. So we go for $3,000. 1,000. You don't want to retire. You want to work until you're 78. So we're gonna go with $1,000, right? How much do you contribute to your retirement each month? $3,000. And then we're gonna say the S&P 500 return approximately, I'll do 11. We'll do 11, right? We'll do 11. Years to retirement. When do you want to retire? You give me the number. When do you want to retire? If you started aggressively now, when do you want to retire? Come on, give me some answers. When? How many years from now? How many years from now do you want to be able to say I'm done? 14 years. Okay. So he said 3,000 a month. He wants to be done in 14 years. In 14 years, he don't want to work no. 10 years. Okay. Alaskan Michelle, 10 years, how much is your contribution? If you say in 10 years, how much do you want to contribute to make that happen in 10 years? But we'll go with my man. Because my man said 14 at 3,000 a month, right? So we go with 14 years, okay? So we're going to look at the numbers. So at 14 years, I'm in the military, so 1,000 go towards my TSP. I buy Bitcoin and invest in the stock market, so I spend about 25. We spend about, but how much is the total? When you spend 25 to 3,000, what are you spending it on? Okay, so we're gonna go with, if Bitcoin does a 30%, right? If Bitcoin does a 30%, here's the difference, right? Look at the difference. The difference is $4.2 million if you go the Bitcoin way. Right? You go the Bitcoin way. So let me read this to you because I don't think you'll be able to read the whole thing. Okay, maybe you can. Maybe you can. So here's the difference, right? If you decide this is math, this is pure math. This is based on historical data, right? So what this says is this, okay? This is what it says. Based on your input, right? So I need to make this larger. Why is this screen so... Okay, now it's better. I can read it. So it says based on your input, right? The numbers you gave us. Invest in $3,000, right? This is you. This is you. Invest in $3,000 each month, or $36,000 every year into a retirement plan earning 11% compound growth annually after 14 years, right? So if you keep on putting that $3,000 into the S&P 500 and the S&P 500 averages 11%, after 14 years, you would have roughly $1.2 million. Comparatively, putting the same amount into Bitcoin each month, appreciated at 29% annually, produces an ending net value of $5.498998 million, which is roughly 4.57x greater than the traditional finance scenario, which is a difference of $4.2 million. You get what we are talking about? This is $4.2 million. 100K was really good. You know, I'm out here doing my Bitcoin avatar thing. I'm the Bitcoin avatar. Inside joke. I'm the Bitcoin avatar. So you see the difference? So this is the difference. This is the opportunity cost we are talking about here, right? So in 14 years, you will be giving up $4.2 million. You said I've been on fire. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get some money on YouTube. I'm trying to get some of this YouTube money. So I'm trying to get monetized. For sure. Appreciate it. Trying to get monetized on YouTube. They said I need 4,000 hours, so I said bet. I'm gonna put in the work. But yeah, so here's the difference, right? Here's the difference. This difference is insane, because at this point, right, even if inflation sucks out some of the purchasing power, in 14 years, which will be here before you know it, right? If you were to put your money there into biddies instead of the S&P 500, historically, These are the numbers, and this is the safe number, right? This is if it does 29%. But what if it does 32%? Look at the difference, right? Life-changing money in 14 years. And guess what? 14 years is going to pass anyway. 14 years is going to happen anyway. You know, COVID is six years ago. It's hard to believe, right? It feels like yesterday. But it's literally 6 years ago. So another 6 years will be here before you know it. Whether you invest or not, the 6 years is going to pass by. So what's the opportunity cost? What is the opportunity cost of splurging? What is the opportunity cost of not being intentional? What is the opportunity cost of not learning how to trade? What is the opportunity cost of not budgeting, right? Not having a plan, not cutting back on unnecessary expenses, right? This is the opportunity cost. This is what you're leaving on the table in 14 years, right? If we go 20 years at this rate, the numbers go crazy, right? If we go 20 years, and you might think 20 years, look at 20 years. This is the difference in 20 years, right? So if you go to Spyway, in 20 years, if you invest at $3K a month, and we're not talking about trading, we're not talking about anything fancy. We're just talking about you go to work, you do whatever you got to do, you make money, and you invest in it in VOO, right? SPY, QQQ, whatever, right? We're not talking about trading. When you add trading to it, the numbers go crazier, right? So if we do this based on 20 years, even if you go with the S&P 500 way, in 20 years, you're still a millionaire. However, $2.5 million in 20 years is not what $2.5 million is today, right? Because inflation is at around, let's say, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%, depending on where you're sourcing it from, right? So 7% times 20, you do the math. That is how much purchasing power you're going to lose over 20 years, right? So $2.5 million in 20 years is probably going to be worth $1 million, which is still better than nothing, right? But if Bitcoin grows at 32%, the opportunity cost, right, is $35 million. No one knows anything, mate. You all predicted a bull run and it didn't happen. You guys called Doge to what? Man, shut the fuck up, man. Damn, I was trying to be nice. Now I gotta be on demon time. Hold on. Shut the fuck up. Oh man. See, they didn't threw me off. Now I gotta see who the fuck this fool is. I gotta see who the fuck this fool is before I block this stupid ass. And the fact that you said mate, so you gotta be from Australia or something. You know, I be with this shit. You gotta be from Australia or something. Who the hell called Dogecoin? You frustrated? Why are you frustrated? Shit, go look at your go stare at your reflection in the mirror. That is a I don't want to do it, but I gotta do it. That is a bitch ass mentality. You frustrated at your decisions and you taking it out on, just think about it, man. But at least you keeping it real. But that's a bitch move. Go look at yourself in the mirror and slap yourself. Okay then, so what are you yapping about? Man, let me cook. You came here to say all of that shit just to say it's your fault. So if you knew it's your fault, the fuck are you complaining about? Go look at yourself in the mirror, take responsibility for your own fucking action. You are a grown human being. Slap yourself. Go smoke some weed. Go do something. Don't be out here complaining. What the fuck wrong with you? Anywho, right? So here's the difference. All right? So let's go for the $1,000 people, the people who can only do 1,000, right? I'm gonna do 1,000. And remember, your time horizon ain't gotta be 6 months. If you do 6 months, you're gonna end up like Iris H786, right? You gotta give yourself enough time. If you look back, if you made an investment during 2020, that's 6 years ago, look back and see how much money you would have made, right? So even at $1,000, right? Let's say the S&P 500 does 12%, right? Instead of 11. And let's say you give yourself 15 years from now to be intentional with your shit, right? Even at $1,000 a month for the next 15 years, if you go to S&P 500 way, 1,000 a month, that's why I said 1,000 a month is peasant. 1,000 a month, you're doing 1,000 a month if you're a teenager or something, right? But if you already an adult and you are behind, you cannot do $1,000 a month. You're gonna die broke. So if you are late to the game, you have to double up. You have to double, triple, quadruple what you should have been doing. You understand? That is the opportunity cost I'm talking about. You wasted time, right? You didn't do what you should have done when you should have done it. So now that it's time for you to do it, you can't act like a teenager. You can't act like you can just put in whatever you want. I'm going to do $100. I'm going to do $200. No. You go hard because you should have gone hard, but you didn't. You were doing shit you weren't supposed to do. So if you still want to change your life, you have to sacrifice. You have to go harder. So instead of doing 1,000, you ought to be doing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. This isn't for someone who is just starting. Are you asking or are you making a statement? Is that a question or is that a statement? If it's a question, you have to put a question mark after it and you have to ask it as a question. This sounds like a statement. And if it's a statement, please explain. Pearl of the West. Are you asking or are you stating? Are you asking or are you stating? I'm just trying to be sure. You asking or are you stating? Right? So here's the difference, in case you ain't know, right? And here's the thing. Thank you. Sorry, yes, it's for anyone, right? So it all depends on your age. It depends on you driving. You shouldn't be texting while you're driving, unless you're doing talk to text or something. But yeah, it's for anybody, right? It's never too late for anybody to start investing. Anytime is a good time. Every day is a good time. However, depending on your age and how much time you got until retirement, you may have to go harder. So that's what I was saying. If you are young, how old are you? Pearl of the West, how old? The question is, how old are you and when do you want to retire? Depending on your age, and RSH 786, go take a seat somewhere, because you probably gonna fuck up again, right? You probably gonna fuck up again because you down and you acting like a crackhead, and you likely gonna make the wrong decision. What I'm talking about here, you see what I'm talking about here has 15 years, right? We are not talking we're not talking tomorrow. If you try to get out of the hole you put yourself in, you're gonna dig a bigger hole for yourself, right? We are not doing no get rich quick shit here, right? We are talking something that has a high probability of happening. So, like I said over here, here's the difference, right? Here's the difference. Traditional finance, if you go $1,000 in the S&P 500, the S&P 500 in 15 years, if it averages at 12%, which is the historical average, right, approximately, you're going to have about $500,000. $500,000 in 15 years ain't going to be worth half of the $500,000. See what I did there? Right? It's going to be here. That's what I'm trying to tell them. It's going to be here before you know it. And the thing is, if you try to get there fast, you're going to miss out. You're going to fuck up. You're going to miss the opportunity. Right? Think long term. So if you go the traditional way, right? The traditional finance way, the S&P 500 way. I'll tell you later. The S&P 500 way will give you $500,000, right? But if you go the Bitcoin way, and Bitcoin grows at 32% because Bitcoin is the new hurdle rate, right? Bitcoin is the new standard. Okay? Bitcoin is what you are trying to outperform. So whatever investment vehicle you are in, if it cannot outperform Bitcoin, then we don't want it. Type 21 if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Type 21 if you're picking up what I'm dropping on the damn floor. Do you get it? 21, right? 21. So, and remember, we are not talking about high risk shit. We are not talking about trading. We're not talking about business opportunities, right? We are talking about a savings vehicle. The difference is the S&P 500 is not a savings vehicle per se. The S&P 500 is an investment. Bitcoin is money, right? Bitcoin is not an investment vehicle. It is money itself, right? It's just such a better money that it outperforms the standard investment vehicle, if that makes sense, right? So in 15 years, this is better than zero, because the person who is not investing $1,000 into the S&P 500 for 15 years will not have this, right? They will not have this. So let's say you and your brother, and you decide to contribute $1,000 a month into the S&P 500 for 15 years. In 15 years time, you're going to have 500K, right? Your brother will have zero. But me, if I decide to go with Bitcoin instead of the S&P 500, and no, I'm not going to split it, right? No, I'm not doing half and half, right? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not doing half and half, right? We all in. We all in. So the difference is, you go the traditional way, you get 500,000. Still wouldn't be able to purchase a whole house without a mortgage, because by the time in 15 years, the average home in America, due to inflation, is probably going to be like 700. No sound? What the no sound. The fuck? God damn it. Hold on. Can you hear me? Maybe it's time for me to go. No? The hell? What the hell? How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good, good. I wanted to say that. Can you hear me now? Good. Right? So, crazy opportunity here, right? And let's say you go $4,000 a month. Look at that difference, boy. You see that? If we go $4,000 a month, because you tell yourself, listen, I got 15 years. I am 30 years old. At 45, I want to be retired. I am 45. At 60, I want to be retired. I am 25. At 40, I want to be retired, right? That means for the next 15 years, you say, fuck trading. I don't want to trade. I don't care. I just want to work my job, right? Get a promotion or not get a promotion, and take that bread and Bitcoin it. See the difference? So if you go You done by 35. How old are you now? You say you're done by 35. How old are you now? 15? Right? Look at the opportunity. I'm telling you. If you don't make it, definitely. So this is the time, man. You can do it in 10. Let's see. Oh, you are brothers. No Limit and the Lion. Oh, you brothers. Okay. So listen, that's a perfect example. So you see the brothers I was talking about? If one brother decides to go, oh, you are twins. One brother decides to go S&P 500, and the other brother decides to go Bitcoin Maxi, right? So look at the Bitcoin Maxi. So brother one, let's say No Limit decides to go with S&P 500, right? Now y'all gotta be lying. Y'all lying now. I'll take the brothers and the twins, but now y'all talking about we cousins and my mom is here. Stop fooling around before I block you. Stop fooling around before I block you, man. I knew it. So look. So y'all out here lying like that? I need to put a blue hat on everybody's head. So look over here. The traditional finance guy, let's say No Limit goes this way and the other brother goes the Bitcoin way. In 15 years at $4K a month, No Limit, you're going to be a millionaire. Multi-millionaire at that. But your brother is going to be $10 million richer than you because he went the Bitcoin way. He went the Bitcoin way and Bitcoin did 32%. What if Bitcoin does 40%? Now he's shitting on you. Like, literally can afford to shit on your head. Diarrhea style. See what I'm saying? And you still stay here. Let's give the S&P 500 15%. Give the S&P 500 15%. Right? S&P 500 15%. Look at the difference. You see what I'm saying? Let's even give S&P 500 15 and give Bitcoin 29. Look at the difference. Let's give S&P 500 15 and give Bitcoin 25. Look at the difference. This is the difference. This is if S&P 500 averages 15%, which it doesn't average 15%. You see what I'm saying? So 15% S&P 500 is 2.6 million in 15 years. So either way, even if you don't decide to go the Bitcoin way and you go the S&P 500 way, in 15 years, you're going to earn 2.6 million. So needless to say, you can't afford to do nothing, right? Let's say Bitcoin does 20%. Let's say Bitcoin does 20%. Even if Bitcoin only does 20% annually for 15 years, you will still be $1.5 million richer. That is a 57% difference. Is the standard. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So knowing what you know, right? That is $4,000. And I mean, how did you get the runner on the bottom? I know a guy, man. I know a guy. I've been cooking, man. It actually isn't. It's actually not how I really want it to be, but I'm getting there, right? I'm setting up my show. My show is gonna be one of the best shows. This is just like a preview of my show, but my show itself, boy, the show is also, you guys are like the island boys. Are you the Bermuda version of the island boys? You like the island boys. You're like the island boys. I mean, literally. We talking some crazy money here, right? And if you are older, you say, hell no. If you are older and let's say if you're younger and you have 20, man, look. Actually, there's a little scary, right? So look at the numbers, right? So if you did $4,000 a month, and Bitcoin, let's do 40%. I just want you to see something. I don't think people understand what opportunity cost really is. Take a moment and ask yourself, in 20 years' time, right? This, we know what it's going to do. We know what the S&P 500 is. And the S&P 500 doesn't do 15%. So let's keep it a buck. S&P 500 will give you 12. Right? So S&P 500 is still good. Right? In 20 years, you're going to be a millionaire, almost $4 million. But if Bitcoin does 40%, which it has been doing, 60-something percent, 150% compounded. Do you see this? That's life-changing money. Okay, let's say you can't do 4,000 because, it's whatever. Let's do 1,000. Look at what 1,000 will do at that level. Okay, let's do $500 a month. Let's do $500 a month. Look at $500. What if we do $250 a month in Bitcoin versus the S&P 500? See the difference? You see where we're going with this? What if we do $150 a month? You see where we're going with this? Okay, let's say we do $100 a month because you have 20 years. You see where we're going with this? Let's say we do $75 a month because you're a super peasant. You see where we're going with this? Let's say we do $50 a month. You see where we're going with this? $50 a month in 20 years, your money will be worth you essentially only contributing $600. That's $600. In 20 years, you'll have $48. You'll still be a peasant. You'll be a super duper 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 peasant. You can't do shit with $48,000 in 20 years. You can't do shit with $48,000 now. But Bitcoin, $1.7 million. And you only did $50 if it goes 40%. What if it goes 50%? Ay, ay, ay. At $50. What if it does 29? What if it does 21? Look at the difference. At 21%, right? We do 21%, you will still get 100,000, and you only contributed $600. So this is flipping $600 to 100,000 versus flipping $600 to 48,000 in the same amount of time, right? If you did, what is the minimum amount to own? What do you mean? If you did $6,000, right? Oh, this is the annual contribution. This is annual. $6,000 annually. You have $500,000 versus $1.5 million, which you shouldn't be doing 500 anyway. That is just, I'll say ideally 2,500. Exactly. You don't ask minimum. You go until you can't do it no more. You don't ask the minimum. You go and then you go find side gigs and then you do some more. Because guess what? You are trying to retire in 20 years. What if you're older and you want to do it in 10? So let's reverse engineer this. 10. If you do 10 years, S&P 500 will give you $500,000, right? At 2,500. If Bitcoin does 21%, you'll be slightly less than $1 million, right? We give Bitcoin 30% at 2,500. If you want to do it in 10 years, you'll be worth 1.6 million. The difference is this. That's a 2,500. So 7 years. Let's look at 7 years. So you want to be done in 7 years. 7 years. If you do 2,500, Bitcoin grows at 30 in 7 years. Traditional finance will give you 338. Bitcoin will give you 685. So 2,500 will not cut it. Let's go 5,000 and see what 5,000 will give us. 5,000 puts you at 1.3 million in 7 years, right? If Bitcoin does 30%. S&P 500, 12%. If you do 5,000, 677. If Bitcoin does, let's say 40%, Bitcoin puts you at $2 million. That is $1.3 million higher than what the S&P 500 will get you, right? That is $60,000 a year, right? That's your annual contribution. And just in case you're wondering, where am I getting the numbers from? Let's look at the numbers, right? Let's look at the numbers. let's look at the numbers. So Bitcoin, this Bitcoin hasn't been down in a long time, right? But if you're looking at the numbers here, we are looking at the CAGR, right? So if we're looking at the CAGR, this is what we are looking at, right? So this is the CAGR we are looking at. So the S&P 500 is in 14 years. This is the average, right? In 14 years, the average for the S&P 500 is 12%. 12% here, 14 years. Average for gold, 14 years is 8%. See that here? 14 years for Bitcoin. Can you see? So S&P 500, 12%, 14 years, right? Bitcoin 98%, 8% for gold. Bitcoin 13 years, 75%, 10% for gold, 12% for S&P 500. 12 years Bitcoin 48%, 12% for gold, 11% for S&P 500. 10 years 67% for gold, 15%. 67% for Bitcoin, 15% for gold, 13% for SPY. 7 years, 51% for gold. Bitcoin, 22% for gold, 14% for SPY. 5 years, Bitcoin, 5%, 25% for gold, 12% for SPY. 4 years, 15% for Bitcoin, 27% for gold, 13% for SPY. 3 years, 48% for Bitcoin, 42% for gold, 19% for SPY. 2 years, 1% for Bitcoin, 54% for gold, 14% for SPY. 1 year, Bitcoin is down. 78% for gold, 17% for the S&P 500, right? But here's the thing. Gold had a massive year. Gold and silver had massive years, right? But because of the way they are structured, because of the way S&P 500 is structured, it's manipulated, it's inflationary. Gold, inflationary as well, because we don't know how much gold is out there. We know the amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist, right? And if you look at the numbers here, it says this shows Bitcoin compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, versus assets over various time frames. For this example, it's shown that Bitcoin has returned 155% on average every year for the past 5 years, while gold has returned 7% on average each year over the same period of time, right? We are talking average. We're not, just because Bitcoin is down doesn't mean it's going to be down like that, right? It may have a year where it does 200% and it's going to change the average. So if you look at the numbers here, my phone is about to die in a minute, so I'm about to wrap it up. If you look at the numbers here, right, you'll see, look, 14 year. This is not compounded. This one on the right hand side is compounded. This one is not. So 14-year return, right? Bitcoin did 1.4 million%. Just keep an eye on this. This is a 14-year return, not average. 1.4 million%. Gold, 14-year return is 203%. Right? So if you bought gold and you held it, 200%. I am streaming on YouTube. Trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, baby. And S&P 500 in 14 years, 393%. Look at Bitcoin. 13 years, if you bought and you held, 144,500%. If you bought and held gold for 13 years, you return 228%. If you bought and held S&P 500, the SPY for 13 years, 334%. 12-year Bitcoin, 10,600%. Gold, 286%. SPY, 259%. Right? Let's go 7 years. Bought and held Bitcoin 7 years ago, 1,657% versus gold, 299%. SPY, 146%. Right? Look at Bitcoin. 3 years ago, you bought and you held it, 224%. Gold, 186%. SPY, 69%. Bought and held Bitcoin 2 years ago, you barely breaking even. Gold had a massive run, 139%. SPY, 31%. Bitcoin, 1 year, 21%. Gold is having an amazing time. SPY is at 17%. So if you look at this, right, in the next, let's say, another 10 years, I can promise you, I don't know the numbers, but it's not going to be red, right? So Bitcoin fucks around and gives you, in the next 10 years, 1,600%, 700%, 1,000%. You're good, right? Because remember, you're not trading it. You're taking the money you would have saved in one of these or a bank account that would have returned you anything, putting it in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin ends up doing 1,000%, 1,500%. That means for every $1 you put away, you get 15 back. Every $1 saved, return you $15. That's how you get fucking rich and change your life in a decade or less. That's my time. See you tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will educate you, and then I will reward you with some sats. You feel me? So tomorrow, that only show, Satoshi Saturdays, that pays you to watch. And not only am I paying you to watch, I'm paying you in Bitcoin, baby. Nobody is doing that. I am out. Peace out.
So we always